So hello everyone, it's day 26 and today is March 29 and I have Indian Express explained page again. So there are a few important article over this page. I find another important article on the editorial page. It was about the regulation of the big tech what USA is doing. So India has to learn from that. But it become easy pathway for India if USA, the most capitalist country in the world, do so. So but that I will not going to read. I will read few article over the Indian Express explained page. There is one article about the November December temperature may decide the Rabi output, and it was another article about carrying cash during election season, what the election commission rules says. And there is another important article about the governor's assent to state laws. So we'll try to read two articles. One is about the governor's assent, and another is why November December temperature may decide the Rabi output. So let us see what this article is saying. So in recent times, wheat has often been hit by a spike in temperatures in March, just when the crop is in the final grain formation and filling stage. In the current crop season, maximum temperatures have so far been near normal in much of the northwestern and eastern India. With more than half the grain filling period 30 to 40 days of the kernels accumulating starch, proteins and other nutrient matter over in the major wheat growing regions, and the crop already or near harvest in central India, chances of yield loss due to heat seem low. The crop expression has been overall excellent in Punjab, Haryana, UP, and Bihar. We can expect high yields and good production in these states. Rajbir Yadav, the principal scientist at the Genetics Division of the Indian Agriculture Research Institute, IARI, said. So less than cold start. Yadav has, however, less sanguine about wheat production in central India, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and parts of the Rajasthan region. The late onset of winter. Okay, the monthly average minimum temperature over central India were 1.67 degree and 2.12 degrees Celsius, higher than normal in the November and December respectively. So this led to the temperature initiation of flowering, the crop, whose ear heads bearing flowers and eventually grain should take 75 to 80 days to fully emerge from the wheat tiller's shoot, came to headline in 60 to 70 days. Came to heading in 60 to 70 days. So northwestern and eastern India too had above normal temperatures in November and December, but the deviations weren't as much. Also in central India, wheat is sowed from last week of October to mid-November, earlier than the first half of the November in northwestern India, and mid-November to mid-December in eastern UP and Bihar. So the delayed winter would have affected the crop sown earlier, cutting short its vegetative growth, roots, stem, and leaves phase. The impact would have been more in central India, where the crop's growth duration is 125 to 130 days compared to 140 to 145 days in Punjab and Haryana. So, while winter did set in fully by late December, the crop in central India suffered due to fog and lack of sunlight in January. After having flowered early, the wheat now recorded poor pollination and seed setting. So there has been a reduction in the number of tillers per plant as well as seeds formed per spike year head, which may translate into the lower grain yields in central India, Yadav said. So what is the production effect? So Lakshmi Narayan Dublia, a great grower from Polajar village in Sonkatach तहसील of the MP's Dewas district said, पहले 2 महीनों में विपरीत मौसम रहा, फसल को ठंड नहीं मिल पाई. Okay, so this is article is about saying that if November December temperature is not adequate for the Rabi crops, the output may decrease. So it does not depend on the temperatures in this March or April, that is the harvesting season. But when the seeds are being sown in the field, the temperature of that time period decides whether what will be the yield of the crop. So let us see the this another important article over this page about the governor's assent to law to state laws. So these things are continuously in news with respect to either Kerala or Tamil Nadu or even for the fact of the matter West Bengal or many other states where ruling party is the opposition party, then governors are not giving assent to certain state laws, citing certain constitutional regulation. So let us see what this article is about to say. So Kerala has moved the Supreme Court against the withholding of assent to bills by the president and governor. Over the past year, several opposition ruled states have approached the court over the same issue. So let us see what this article is going to say. First of all, Kerala's governor is Arif Mohammad Khan. So the Kerala government last week approached the Supreme Court saying President Draupadi Murmu had withheld to four bills passed by the state while disclosing no reason whatsoever, and that Governor Arif Muhammad Khan had withheld assent to seven bills, some for as long as 2 years, before referring them to the president. So Kerala, which is ruled by the Left Democratic Front, urged the top court to declare the referring of the state bills to the president as unconstitutional and lacking in good faith. So this is the newest chapter in the conflict between states ruled by the opposition parties and their governors, so who are appointed by the president on the center's advice. Over the past year, multiple states, including Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, and Punjab, have approached the Supreme Court about governors withholding assent to bill for long period of time. So let us see what is governor's role in lawmaking. Article 200 of the Constitution states that after a bill has been passed by the state legislature, it shall be presented to governor. The governor then has three options: give assent to bill, withhold assent, or reserve the bill for consideration by the president. So, for situation where assent is withheld, Article 200 states that a governor may, as soon as possible after the presentation to him, return the bill, together with a message requesting that the House or Houses will reconsider the bill or any specific provisions thereof, and if the bill is passed again by the House or the Houses with or without amendment and presented to Governor for assent, the Governor shall not withhold assent therefrom. So this is what Constitution has to say. The latter part of the proviso clearly gives the state government the final say on enactment of the on enacting legislation, but it is the part saying as soon as possible after after the presentation to him, which has led to states approaching the Supreme Court. Since the article does not provide a timeline, governors have withhold often withheld assent to bills for extended periods, effectively leaving them and the state legislature in limbo. So president's role in this process. What is the role of president? So in situation where a bill is sent to the president for consideration, the president can either give or withhold assent. This is dealt in the article 201. If the assent is withheld, the president requests the governor to return the bill to the state legislature for reconsideration. The state government then has 6 months to reconsider the bill. Failing to do so results in its lapsing. Okay. If the bill is passed once again by the state legislature, it must be sent back to the president, who, unlike the governor, is under no obligation to give assent when assessing the reconsidered bill. This is the only situation in which state government do not have the final say in their own lawmaking process. Okay, so this is the situation. Let's just suppose that if a state legislature passed a bill and it has been referred to the governor for consideration, and if governor returned the bill to the state legislature, and legislature passed the bill again with or without amendment, then governor will have obligation to give assent to that bill. But if the governor has reserved the bill for the president's consideration or president's assent, then presidents will have ultimate authority whether he or she give assent to the bill or return the bill for the reconsideration to the state legislature. And if state legislature, even though pass that bill again for with amendment or without amendment, then also president is not bound to give assent. But in case of governor, governor is bound to give assent. So this is the clear difference between Article 200 and Article 201. So, issued raised by Kerala. What are the issues? The Kerala government's petition terms the action of Governor Khan and President Murmu as manifestly arbitrary, that is, an action that is unreasonable, irrational, and which, as a result, violates the right to equality. The petition argues that the decision to keep bills pending violates Article 200 by not making a decision as soon as possible. As such, the governor had subverted the functioning of the state legislature and rendered its existence itself ineffective and or twice, serving no practical purpose. So the government has said on President Murmu's decision to withhold assent to the four of the bills referred to her, the Kerala government has argued that this was done without giving any reason whatsoever. This, if claims, is in violation of Article 201, which states that the president is required to return bill with a message containing such amendments as he may recommend. So situations in other states. In November last year, the Supreme Court expressed serious concern at Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi's decision to withhold assent to 10 bills that had been enacted by the state legislature, some of which were pending since January 2020. 3 days later, all 10 bills were returned for reconsideration with no reasons given for the decision. Tamil Nadu's DMK government and Governor Ravi have been at loggerheads for a long time. Most recently, the Supreme Court criticized the governor for refusing to appoint Ponmundi as a state's minister for higher education despite the apex court staying his criminal conviction. In its petition to the apex court regarding the governor's alleged overreach, the Tamil Nadu government claimed that Ravi has positioned himself as a political rival to the state government. The Telangana government also approached the Supreme Court in March 2023 over former governor Tamili Sai Sundar Rajan refusal to give assent to 10 bills that were passed by its legislative assembly. She gave her assent shortly after. So, nonetheless, senior advocate Dushyant Dave in April still pushed for the court to pass directions in the matter, telling the bench that the elected government is at the mercy of the governor. Telangana is an opposition state, and so this is happening. At the time, the court refused to pass a detailed order on the subject beyond saying that the expression as soon as possible in Article 200 has a significant constitutional intent and must be borne into mind. Sundar Rajan is now the BJP candidate for the upcoming Lok Sabha election from the Chennai South constituency. So, question of the timeline for assent. In November 2023, the Supreme Court was to decide if a governor could withhold assent to bills passed by the state legislature if he believed that the session where the bills were passed were convened illegally. The governor of the Punjab, Banwari Lal Purohit, had refused to give assent to four bills passed by the Punjab Assembly, claiming that he had received legal advice that led him to believe that the bills were passed in the breach of law and procedure. However, bills were not remitted to the Assembly for reconsideration. The court held that the governor did not have the power to thwart the normal course of lawmaking by the state legislatures and held that the phrase as soon as possible in Article 200 means that governor cannot be at liberty to keep the bills pending indefinitely without any action whatsoever. So, if the governor decides to withhold assent, he is bound to follow the procedure provided in the first proviso of Article 200 and return it to the state legislature for reconsideration, the court said. Though the court spelled out the obligations of the governor in the lawmaking process, it stopped short of providing a definitive timeline for the governor to make the decision. The Kerala government has now approached the Supreme Court to address the same issue. So this was about this issue about the withholding assent of the another important article that I would like to read is about the carrying cash during election season. So let us see the earlier this week a video of the Tamil Nadu police seizing rupees 69,400 from some tourist went viral online, while the money was later returned. The incident has spotlighted the election commission's stringent rule for carrying cash and other items around election. So, what does the election commission deal with the money power during elections? The election commission caps campaign expenditure at rupees 95 lakh per constituency in bigger states, 75 lakh per constituency in smaller ones to ensure that campaigns do not exceed these limits. The EC prior to every election issued detailed instruction to police department, railways, airport and income tax department and other enforcement agencies to keep a strict vigil on movement of cash, liquor, jewelry, drugs and gifts, anything that could be distributed among during polls to influence voters. Does EC have dedicated officers to tackle the issue? The EC appoints expenditure observers for every district alongside static surveillance teams and flying squads. The teams are headed by a senior executive magistrate and comprise a senior police officer, a videographer, and uh, 3 4 armed police personnel. Surveillance teams put up a checkpost on road and are supposed to videograph the entire checking process. The final 72 hours before polling sees enhanced enforcement. So, what are the rules for carrying cash and other items? Authorities are supposed to instantaneously report to the IT department uh, anyone carrying cash worth more than rupees 10 lakh or more than 1 kg in bullion. Cash or bullion can be seized till verification is completed in order to ensure that it is not related to any political party or candidate. If a vehicle carrying a candidate, her agent, or a party worker is found with over rupees 50,000 in cash, drugs, liquor, arms, or gift item worth more than rupees 10,000, then the items will be instantly seized. If during checking there is any suspicion of a crime, the seizure will be done under the Criminal Procedure Code. When it comes to carrying liquor across the state borders, the excise laws of the respective state applies. So, what happens after a seizure? In case any cash or other items are seized, authorities are meant to return them as they are not related to any candidate or a crime. A district level committee looks at grievances in order to avoid inconvenience to the public and genuine persons. The committee comprising the district election office nodal officer for expenditure monitoring and the district treasury officer shall suo moto examine each case of seizure where no FIR complaint has been filed or where the seizure is not linked with any candidate, political party or election campaign. So this was all about today's newspaper. We will see soon. Let us see if there is some important article over the economy page. So economy page is about a reliance on imported gas, a robust economy, Baltimore incident. Yeah, some general yeah, T plus zero settlement cycle. This is important. If this article came in explained page, then we will try to cover someday. So till then, let us see tomorrow's newspaper very soon.